Hey everyone, my name is Vito, welcome to Confusion. Today I want to talk about something that is very important to me. Turning off the computer. Now. No, not now. But I'm serious. Unfortunately, the new generation of CG artists have forgotten that there is a huge world to discover outside the digital world. Hayao Miyazaki, everybody should know him, the great master of Ghibli once said, his biggest worries are that today's artists do not go into nature anymore or do not use their hands to create stuff. Taking photos for textures or references is probably the most common thing, but there is so much more to discover. Musicians have understood this for ages, combining real and analog instruments and devices with digital effects to create a unique sound. Hans Zimmer, for example, the German film music composer, does this all the time. But take this German classic movie for example. I know it's suspiciously a lot of German examples here, but believe me, it has nothing to do with me being from Germany. So the title of this movie is Never Ending Story. The clouds that you see in the beginning were made by pouring ink into a water tank and shot in slow motion. Now, despite being an old movie and the technology that was used, this to me looks pretty cool. Now, there are tons of other examples where filmmakers use this kind of trickery to achieve stunning effects, and those are not from Germany. But enough talking, I want to give you a short but hopefully impactful example of what you can achieve when mixing both worlds. First, let's talk about what you will need. Of course, this is just a direction, you can experiment with anything you want. Just remember to be playful, that's the most important part of it. Some people stress themselves out if something doesn't work. In that case, remember when you were a little kid. We did not worry so much, we simply enjoyed the moment. Now, if you live in a house, you might already have everything you need. For example, a strong lamp. Now, I'm using this construction lamp here, but any strong light source will do. However, be careful, these construction lights are super hot and you can easily burn yourself or the cloths. Then you need a fan or anything that produces wind. For my example, I'm using a tower fan like this one here, and I found that it works best. Finally, the most important ingredient is the cloth itself. Okay, there's a lot of experimenting with this one, as different materials give you a different result. The most important property of the fabric should be the shininess or reflectance, in order to reflect the light nicely. The best cloth for that, or the best material for that, is satin. It's French. Now, it's a very shiny and reflective material, but the ones I found were all way too thick and heavy for the strength of my fan. Now, another important aspect is gravity. If you use a very light cloth, the whole result just feels lighter. So I thought it was perfect for fire. So I fix the cloth on a stick or pole using clamps or clips, and I make sure they won't be visible in the shot later. At this stage, I also try to create some interesting folds, which are characteristic for fire. Now, say you live in Alaska and you don't have a fan. You could shake the stick with your hand. But although this will give you better control, doing so the base of the flames would move due to the shaking, and you would have to soft cut it later in Fusion. And then this will lose your details at the base, and we don't want that. That is why I'm using a fan. So for the shoot, it's important to have a dark background and set your camera shutter very low so you can capture only the lit areas of the cloth with no motion blur whatsoever. And also I shoot in 60 frames per second just in case I want to slow it down. Hey man, welcome back. I actually don't need this. But I need this espresso. Okay guys, here I have my little special setup frame that I built, and this frame is not earthquake proof. So I put the pole here, or the stick, and I fixed the cloth on the top using double-sided tape. And I use double-sided tape because it's easier to adjust. If, for example, if I want to have more wrinkles, I look through the camera, I need more wrinkles up there, so I just take it off and adjust it. It's much better and quicker, you know. Yeah, so I have the lamp down here. At the moment, it's right beneath the cloth. You can see where I get this very nice rim light. And of course, you can vary it. You can put the light further behind or more in the front. With this black cloth, however, I cannot put it behind because then this cloth is not very translucent, so I wouldn't get much of highlights, or you know. So with this one I had to stay a little bit in the front, which at this height becomes a little bit a problem with my fan. But this is not the final footage. I just set this quickly up for you guys. I will show you the final footage later. Okay, so let's give this thing a shot, and let me remind you that the brighter cloth, let me show you. This cloth here actually looks, in my opinion, looks nicer. Now, you have just different properties. It depends what you want to do. This one, if you have a strong fan, can be very nice too. But this one has a different shine effect. It has like this velvetish effect. I don't know if you know what that means. So it's like almost like you have, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like you have more of these specularity lines going on here, and you don't have this with this one. Okay, but let's give it a try first, and let's talk later. So I take my fan, I turn it on. Let me see, where's this Japanese? I guess this is the kanji for full power. Okay, so usually I would stand on that side, but I don't want to be in the way. So I give it a blow, and I try to make a wavy motion, something like this. And you can see, especially in the bright areas here, especially when viewing it through the camera, it really looks like you have some flames action going on here. Now it really depends on what kind of material you use. You can create all kinds of variations, you know. You can use a much bigger cloth, but then you need a very strong fan, which I don't have. You know, these blasters that they use to blast away the leaves on the street. Well, that would be, I think they hold it like this, and then they go like, would probably blow away my frame. Okay, but you get the picture. You can see that it kind of moves like flames. And so, yeah. And let me show you those wrinkles here. Now, those wrinkles I did intentionally put there. I used those clamps to fix the cloth, and I intentionally created those wrinkles to get those nice details that are very, what's that called in English? Characteristic for fire. Yeah, but you can fix my English in the comments like some people do. The last time I said this right off the bat, and the guy said it's right off the bat. But he also said, but I like right off the bat, so keep saying it. Yeah, very nice. So you can see this is, you can experiment with this and create all kinds of different results here. Yeah. So I'm really impressed by this kind of results you can get with those simple effects, methods. So let's take a look at the footage. Hey. Okay guys, we're in Fusion, and I've loaded 3 of my favorite takes already in here, and I would say let's go and view them first. Okay, this is the first one. Let me hit play. Okay, so this is the one where I used the wind blaster at the bottom, you can see it, and I just do this wavy motion. And you can see that also due to the 60 frames per second, we get this very nice slow motion, and it makes the cloth move very magical, if I can say so. Okay, this is the first one, and let's take a look at the second one. Okay, in this one, I have the round fan on the bottom left behind the cloth, or slightly behind, and it hits the cloth from the left. And you can see the motion that it creates is very nice. It's very typical for fire. And here you can see how those waves just fly away to the right. If you squint your eyes a little bit, it really moves like fire. Okay, now let's get to my favorite one. And I say favorite because if you take a closer look, you can see that something strange is happening here. the cloth is moving somehow magical. If I zoom in, you can see that there's my hand. So I'm behind the cloth. You can see here, this dude and the big nose here. I'm behind the cloth and I'm moving this fabric, this cloth, around, and this creates this sort of twirl effect here. That's pretty cool. I wear gloves and yeah, everything is dark, and these little bits that will just go through as fire later. Okay, I don't know what you think, guys. I think this is pretty amazing. I mean, squint your eyes and this looks just so cool. And with very, very simple methods, this is nothing special. Everybody can do this kind of things. And of course, I've prepared a scene for you. So let me show you what we're gonna create using this footage in the coming tutorial. As always, if you want to have the project files and the tutorial, visit me on Patreon, support me on Patreon. By doing so, you will allow me to create more of this kind of swag. My name is Vito, I'll see you soon. Until then, enjoy what you're doing. Hey!